So, hey, welcome back to this series where we're exploring the hidden cost of high performance. So, today we're naming something that really gets acknowledged. We're talking about what happens when being the safe pair of hands actually stops feeling safe. So, let's get started, shall we? You're the one they turn to, the calm one, the capable one, the one with the answers. And yet, beneath it all, you know there's more available for you. More energy, more clarity, more unshakable presence. Welcome to Project Joyful, the podcast for health-centered leaders. I'm Tracy Tutty. Here, we speak to the part of you that knows leadership isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more fully who you are. So let's begin, shall we? So, for many high-performing women, being the one they can count on isn't just a strength. It's an identity, a survival strategy, a quiet contract that sounds a bit like this. As long as I hold everything together, I'll be safe. I'll be valued. I'll be needed. And underneath that is a program running that sounds a bit like, if everyone else is okay, then I'll be okay. Can you feel that in your body as I'm saying it? It's a subconscious agreement that your well-being is conditional on how well you're managing everything and everyone around you. But over time, that contract starts to cost you. And the currency isn't just time. It's your peace, it's your health, it's your joy. Now, here's what it could look like. You delegate the task, but you still do the final review at 9 p.m. Not because you don't trust your team, they're amazing, but because your body doesn't feel safe unless you're in control of every last detail. You lead the all-hands meeting with a calm, confident voice, but your stomach was in knots all night, rehearsing your tone so that you wouldn't come across as too much or so you wouldn't accidentally say the wrong thing. You tell yourself the glass of wine is how you wind down, but lately it feels more like the off switch that you can't find any other way. Or perhaps you have meaningful one-on-ones with your team, but you notice you're avoiding the bigger conversations, the ones that would require you to be fully present, not just polished or practiced. Maybe you're hitting the deadlines and managing output, but that spark's missing. You wonder if it's the role or if it's you, the season of your life. Is it time for a change? Or is this what leadership feels like now? So you're holding everything beautifully, expertly, but there's a cost. And here's what that cost actually feels like. You know something's off, but you can't quite access how you feel about it because you're too worn out to process anything anymore. You're snappy with the people you care about most, but your capacity's spent long before you get home. You're over-preparing, you're second-guessing, you're feeling the hum of anxiety when there's nothing wrong. You sleep, but you never really feel rested. You start your day feeling already behind and wondering if maybe this is just what tired feels like now. And you know what's so amazing about this? It's the fact that no one else seems to see it. Because you still look composed, capable, calm. And isn't that the point? Sometimes that high-functioning exterior becomes so automatic, so polished, that you lose touch with how different it could feel. It's not that you forget. It's that you've been holding it all for so long, you don't even realize there's another way. That is until your body whispers, or if you've ignored it for long enough, she shouts. Or those relationships with the people you care most about, they start to fray. Or perhaps your creativity begins to dry up. You see, your body is a master of adaptation. It will normalize dysfunction if it means survival. And it's got a very rigid definition for your survival. As long as you're breathing, you're good. And that's its brilliance, right? Because if it didn't do that, we wouldn't survive as a species. But the flip side of that is that familiar doesn't mean functional. And automatic doesn't mean aligned. And that's when you realize that this just is not sustainable. Or maybe you find yourself thinking, I'm not happy or I don't want this, even though there's a part of you that knows that if you weren't constantly in control mode or being the one everyone turns to because you're the safe pair of hands, you might actually enjoy it. Something's got to give, but you don't know what it is yet. So let's talk about the science behind how you're feeling and why you're feeling the way that you are. When your nervous system is wired for hyper-responsibility, your leadership becomes a performance of safety. Not to fit in, but to prove that you deserve the seat that you already occupy. I know it sounds crazy, but you're already in the seat and you're still trying to fake it through the job interview every single day. And it's not about being liked. It's about legitimizing your right to lead over and over again through flawless execution. You don't feel safe being the leader. You only feel safe proving that you are. And this isn't about seeking validation or belonging. It's about legitimacy. It's about trying to justify the very role that you've already been given. So you hold it all, not because it's strategic, but because it feels like the only way to keep your place. Imagine how exhausting that is. And maybe, quietly, there's a part of you still trying to prove the doubters wrong, even if the only doubter left is the one in your own head. So you get the praise, the promotions, we couldn't do this without you, but it still doesn't land. Not because it isn't real, but because you don't know how to let it in. Your system is wired for vigilance and proof right now, and it filters out everything else before it can even land. And that same pattern drives your excellence. It also filters out your sense of enoughness, because somewhere deep inside, your system's still whispering, don't drop the ball, don't get found out. You're not leading from clarity. You're leading from compensation, from reacting to a perceived gap inside yourself. Not because you lack capability, but because your body still believes it's got something to prove. This kind of leadership doesn't emerge from trust. It's shaped by self-protection, where control, perfection, and over-delivery stand in for safety. And you can feel it in your body, that tight chest, that jaw tension, grinding your teeth in your sleep, a low-grade buzz of pressure that never quite switches off. Even the praise feels like a test, right? You're scanning for risk. What don't I see? Even in moments that should feel like rest. And here's the deep truth. Your system doesn't need more resilience. It needs relief. Relief from the internal pressure to always be the one who catches what others drop. Relief from the belief that your worth is tied to your performance. You're not broken. You're just tired of surviving your success. And you deserve to feel good in the life you've built. And this is where my work begins. Not just with performance or mindset, though those shift too, but with the patterns beneath them. The ones quietly shaping how you show up, how you lead, and how you recover. Inside Revitalize, my one-on-one coaching experience, we unravel the subconscious wiring that's kept you over-functioning, over-responsible, and quietly bracing. As a neuro-identity and executive coach and a medical herbalist, I work at that intersection of biology, belief, and leadership. Because sustainable performance isn't built on pressure. It's built on internal congruence, on feeling that your leadership fits you. When your system recalibrates, your mindset sharpens. When your identity expands, performance follows. You don't have to push, you just lead. With steadiness, with clarity, with ease. Because your brilliance was never the problem. It's what gets to shine when you no longer need to prove it. One of my clients recently put it perfectly. She said, I didn't realize how much of my leadership was built on managing fear. Now I'm not just more effective, I actually feel good doing it. And isn't that what we all want? To feel good doing the things that we love and get paid well for? If this episode resonated, if you're starting to recognize that being the safe pair of hands is costing you more than you're willing to admit, then I want to personally invite you to my upcoming masterclass. It's called When You Feel Better, You Lead Better. It's happening on the 21st of August at 10 a.m. New Zealand time. And for my friends in North America, that's 6 p.m. on August the 20th if you're on Eastern time. So this masterclass is for high-performing women who are ready to stop surviving their leadership and they're ready to start feeling good in it. In this 60-minute live session, we're exploring why your current strategies for coping with pressure actually reinforce the pattern that's exhausting you. I'm going to talk about 3 nervous system cues that quietly drive overfunctioning and how you can shift them, and how to stop abandoning your own well-being in service of the mission or your team or your role, what real embodied leadership feels like, and how to access it without stepping back and burning out. That's what you're going to come away with. So this isn't just a pep talk, this masterclass. It's a recalibration, a chance to step outside the performance long enough to reconnect with what's true and what's possible. And when your leadership starts to feel good again, well, it just gets lighter, clearer, more powerful because you're feeling better. You'll find the registration link in the show notes, or you can DM me the word lead on Instagram and I'll send you all the details. Thanks for being you. I'll see you next time on Project Joyful. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.